So we've come a long way, and it's been a great ride. First of all, let me talk a little bit about 2024. 2024 in the real estate industry, the big picture, macro picture, was a real challenging year for a lot of companies. I just know that from talking to friends around the country. Continue to have challenges, which Jim knows, with the banks and not really lending a lot of money. And if they do, they kind of drag you through a keyhole to get everything negotiated. So it's been a real challenge. But in spite of all that, we had a good year. And we got a lot of things done last year. And there was a lot of activity. Leasing activity was strong. We picked up a lot of property management accounts. Great job with you guys doing that. And also, we got a pretty good development pipeline going. The thing that probably was the most challenging is with Ryan's group is on the investment side, because we wanted to sell things last year, but the market just wasn't ready for it. And they're great buildings. They're leased. They're primarily in Boston we're talking about. Hopefully this year we'll be able to do some transactions, churn some capital, and fight to live another day. But all in all, it was a good year. Kyle and I, and Jim sits in on these meetings because he really wants to, on the succession planning. Because why not? He saw my dad and I go, work through these succession issues. So now he's watching Kyle and I work through these succession issues.
You ever see a major league umpire? Right here.
We tried to have them without Jim. It didn't go very well.
Yeah. So, and they're going well. It's not a straight line, but we're getting through a lot of issues. I think we're making a lot of progress. I'm really happy with the progress Kyle has made with the team and with Jim's support and everyone else here. So it's been very positive, and looking forward to 2025's quarterly meetings. I think we have our first one coming up next week or the week after. We meet quarterly on it. So with a facilitator who wears a striped shirt with a whistle. So it was really it was, like I said, a very productive year when it comes to that in 2024. So, and we're very bullish on 2025. Also, the last year that we're in spite of the fact to make an infamous quote that we don't have palm trees and we do pay state income tax, but we were able to recruit some really good people to the company last year, and we're really proud of that. And as usual, I'm going to read off a lot of names. Hopefully, this goes pretty smooth. But all the new people we've hired, who brought on board in 2024. So we start off with property management: Thomas Thompson, Matthew Howard. Sorry about that. Again, I apologize. They tried to spell it phonetically, but still not working right. Balaj Ahmed, Angela Childers, Sean Cliff, Kevin Henry, Ann Johnson, Gino Lamarco, Jordan Levon, Shannon McCarthy, John Ryan Ferd. Is he here? Good. Sorry about that.
Actually, he just stormed off and left.
All right.
Set the bar low.
Yeah. Grace, we didn't do that one. We did do that one? All right, I'm sorry. Some of the more easier ones: Jeff Murphy, Julian Whitelaw, Joseph Schmidt, Raymond Serrano, Daniel Smosna. How's that? In accounting, Matthew Burney. Investments, Andrew Barbario. Brokerage, Jack Hawkins. Everyone says, I can't believe, I know. Did we really hire him? I feel like he's been here forever. Is that what it was? Oh, okay. HR, we have two great people in HR, Jenna Steinwalks and Ala Azure Bori. How'd I do? Thanks, Ala. So, and no, welcome. And again, it was really a great year. I really think our ability to hire and retain great people is really based on the culture that we've created here and continue to maintain. Cam?
We've forgotten about Cam. Wow.
Oh, sorry, Cam. You've just been around forever. Yes, and a shout out to again Donna and the team for putting this together as usual. Our den mother who keeps us well fed, and also to the IT team who was scrambling today that found out how long ago that we're going to be streaming, 2 hours ago, and rallied to get us streaming. So good job, guys, and Bob. So thank you everyone and welcome everyone. So
To the new hires. Wow. I don't know how I follow up with that. Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome.
It has been an awesome year for new hires, and I want to really touch briefly on the few individual employee awards that were given out last year that we'd like to acknowledge. There's quite a few. First and foremost, starting out with Business First 30 Under 30 Award, Alex Eisenhower, well-deserved, buddy. Is Gail here? Gail here. Hopefully you are watching. But Gail, also coming from Business First, won the Women of Influence Award, and she is going on her 32nd year in the company. Ed, Sarah, and Eric won the Co-Star Impact Award for the Commercial Development of the Year at Roswell at Park Club Lane. Well-deserved. Tough project. We'll touch on that one later again. Speaking of Sarah, she also was highlighted in the New York Real Estate Journal for Women in Commercial Real Estate Spotlight. Sarah, you represent us well. Thank you. This one's near and dear to my heart, but Tara McCauley, who won at the BOMA Award, the Admin of the Year. Well-deserved, Tara. I don't know how you put up with all of our different personalities and scattered brains, but it's a skill that it's unbelievably appreciated. Thank you, Tara. And I don't know if John Green is sitting on a beach somewhere with a rum punch. Is he here?
Where there is palm trees.
Yeah.
And
But,
hopefully no state income tax.
Also at the same BOMA Award, John Green had received the Distinguished Service Award. And I had the privilege of attending this event. And the support that John received in that room from the speaker and everybody there, I mean, there were multiple people with tears in their eyes. So it was pretty cool to see. And I really only just wish we got him early in his career. But thank you, John. If you ever see this, hopefully you're streaming or someone sent him the video. Yeah. So reflecting back on these awards, I mean, it's really, a proud moment. And, all of these individuals reflect our core values all in their own unique way. And I'll just, run through those quickly. I mean, they're on the wall behind here, but we'd like to continue to pound these home. Our desire to grow, our team above self, our great business sense, our unwillingness to fail, our above and beyond work ethic, and that every voice is valued. So congrats to all. And I'm sure I'll be up here a year from now celebrating even more individual awards in 2025.
All off to me.
Go ahead. Let me interrupt. I just want to do a special shout out to the Pittsburgh team that trucked their way up north to.
I had that in the year.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. I never stuck to the script. Sorry. I didn't see it on here.
I had you guys. It's coming.
All right. You get it twice. All right, go ahead, Jim. It's all yours.
So again, about the Pittsburgh folks. So I tend to get to talk about the results. And I think 2024 could best be described as the year of uncertainty. When you really think about what we've done during this year of capital markets that are frozen, corporate profits squeezed, space unknown, global and national economies, the local economy, the elections, and the geopolitical environment that we find ourselves in. It's when you think about all that, we still happen to make about $600,000 in what we refer to as EBITDA. And that's the way most companies review their results. So given all that uncertainty, given the capital markets frozen, we still were able to get that $600,000 to the bottom line. And we were able to do that because, one, the property management team is doing a fantastic job bringing in that steady income. And then we were able to close out the 2 large development deals that we had. I don't mean to take them away, but we were able to close those out. That allowed us to book, if you will, some income. Now, Matt, I know he's out there somewhere. No one wants to talk about booking and accrual and cash. So we're not going to talk about that. What we are simply going to say is, as far as we're all concerned, 2024 was a very good year for us. Okay? 2025 is shaping up to be a little more difficult. We hope to make about $20 million in revenue, and we're budgeting right now to lose 1.9. And you sit there and go, oh my God, 1.9. Again, remember our business. Property management, asset management, and to some extent tenant improvement work tend to be rather straight, without big surprises. Brokerage, investments, and development deals tend to be very cyclical. So the ideal is to try to keep all those things going in the right direction. And from time to time, we will see this cyclical nature in our business. And that's just the way our world is. Going forward, in the next 3 years, we'd like to see about $26 million in revenue with an EBITDA of about $2 million. And the way we're going to do that is through growth, through more, if you will, constant growth. And that should eliminate or at least reduce that cyclical nature of our business and provide a more steady, foundation for what we like to do. Okay, so certainly we'd like to see profit every year, but given the nature of our business, it's very difficult to do. And we could say, well, that's Ciminelli and that's in Western Europe. Typically, if you're in the real estate development business, you ride high and low with the projects. So that's where we are. That's where we're heading. And we think 2025 will be a year. Now, if we can get some investments sold, some different projects going, some different brokerage opportunities, that could change. But as it sits today, we are. Okay? Moving on. So certainly, if you think about again, we look at I love the words efficiency, accountability, being proactive. And when people say the word efficiency, they oftentimes mean cut, or they often think that the word cut comes in. And the reality of it is to become more efficient with our IT, we actually brought IT in-house and hired Cam, right? This year, right, Cam? Yeah. And hired, certainly Cam and Dave, and they provided a better foundation for us. They provided an opportunity for us to increase our efficiency, to increase our accountability, and more importantly, to allow us to anticipate what the world will look like from an IT perspective years to come. And that's something that really will benefit us going forward. We talk about cyclorama, and cyclorama, as you may or may not recall, had a fire in the building on Mother's Day a couple of years ago. When you think about that fire on that day, when those tenants are sitting there watching their belongings float out the door, they were distraught. When you think about that too, the tenant improvement group getting that building reconstructed on time for that tenant to move in before the end of the year was miraculous. But what people don't know or don't realize is that cyclorama project took all of us. Monica in corporate services working with the insurance company to make sure we got all the insurance proceeds we not only deserve, but absolutely needed. You had the accounting group making sure that all these people spending money are spending it, and we're accounting for it properly. You had asset management going out and getting a new loan for that building. You had, who am I missing? Property management, if you will. You had property management at the building taking care of the loss, and then you had property management at a replacement building for Lumsden taking care of their needs. So it really took all of us coming together to really make that project a success. And now, because of all of our hard work, our investment team is out recapitalizing that building. So when you really think about taking a disaster and turning it into a very, very beneficial project for the entire community, and more importantly, our tenant, I think it speaks wonders of the building, of the team we have here. The next thing I want to talk about is...
Let me just interject. Jim, you did a great job. That project I've always have sentimental value. That's the first project I did when I got out of college in the mid-'80s. And so it's kind of been seen as like my baby. And so it's good to see that it's got a new life to it, and you did a great job with it. So
the team.
Jim, you asked who you missed yourself.
Yeah.
We're moving on to the team.
Yes.
So, now,
okay.
Certainly. So Yardi, as we all know, he formed a multi-functional group to evaluate our software and make recommendations. After that multi-departmental group got together, we agreed that Yardi was the way to go. And we embarked on a Yardi conversion. And I think everyone did a fantastic job selecting Yardi. What Yardi did not realize, we certainly knew, but what Yardi didn't realize is how odd we are, if you will, as a company. The number of customers we have from Pittsburgh to Boston, the number of tenants we have, the different types of tenants, the different types of customers have really proven to be difficult for Yardi to do a very good job in making sure that the product they're providing us is a product that we need, and more importantly, that we can use. So right now, as we speak, engineers at Yardi are out trying to, fix their little glitches in their software to make sure that the product they're delivering to us is the product that we in fact want. Once they get done repairing I don't want to say repairing, but altering their software, our team again will review it, we'll test it, and make sure that the product is what we need. And then, and only then, will we then roll it out and complete the conversion. And when you think about the words unwillingness to fail, other companies, other teams may have sat there and said, you know what, let's just do the conversion and we'll figure it out later. To me, that would have been a failure. Our team sat there and said, no, it's not ready. We're not doing it. We're not going to set ourselves up for failure. So by taking the time necessary and working with Yardi, I'm sure that when we finally elect to go forward with that conversion, that we'll be in the best position possible. So to me, that's a prime example of our unwillingness to fail. And I think it's fantastic. And I think it took a lot of courage for people to say, nope, it's not ready yet. Let's delay it. So you should all give yourselves a round of applause for that great decision and all the work you're doing. So great job.
I'm really excited to throw a Yardi party when this whole thing's done. This is going to be a celebration like Ciminelli's never seen before. So I'm going to jump into a little bit more of a micro review of a broker or of a department by department from last year and sort of a forward looking beyond that. Starting with brokerage, we touched on a little bit, but despite a slow start to leasing last year, as market conditions were pretty unfavorable the first quarter and a half, our brokerage group ended the year very strong, completing over 30 transactions, and we're definitely feeling that momentum into 2025. Of those 30-plus transactions, 11 of them received the CoStar Power Broker Award. Now, some of you are probably wondering what the heck that is. CoStar is the largest real estate research and... Oh, there we go. Rewind. CoStar is the large... a lot more in my ear now, huh? Are you messing with me? It's the largest research and listing company in the country, and it's relied on most in our industry. And while they track every single deal that's done in every market, they give out quarterly and annual awards to the deals that they believe are the most impactful in the region. And the fact that we received an award on over 30% of the deals that we actually worked on shows a combination of a few things. One, we're very well positioned in the market as well as our portfolio. But two, there just weren't that many deals done in Western New York last year. So it really directly correlates with what Jim talked about. We were part of a lot of them. Example, a few of the deals that were acknowledged include the largest office transaction in the city of Rochester in 2024, where we represented global law firm Nixon Peabody in a 60,000-foot relocation from their office in downtown Rochester to the suburbs. This was a pretty special one for me. Nixon Peabody was actually one of my first accounts that I handled in my early 20s, only to lose it to CBRE a few years later. So coming back around was pretty cool. And as many of you probably know, we finally filled our old HQ space at 350 SJ, placing both the Seneca Nation on one side and Alcott on the other, where we represented both sides of both deals, both of them receiving awards. Speaking of the family portfolio, despite the office market that we've been harping on, our portfolio actually increased in value in 2024 in result of our leasing efforts. And I'm happy to report that we're in the midst of several more deals that will further increase our occupancy. And similarly, at our HQ, 4050 Fountain Plaza, we're working on 4 separate deals right now that it's going to bring our occupancy north of 90%. So things are definitely looking up in the leasing world right now. And, if you follow anything that's going on in the country in the office world, there's a flight to quality. The best buildings are doing great. And the good news is we have the best buildings. So that's why we're doing pretty well right now. Moving on to development, 2 of the most notable and impactful milestones that have already been highlighted are the 716 in Roswell at Park Club Lane being completed and officially turned over to its owner. So congrats to Eric Wagner on bringing those projects to completion. We all know the many years and stress that entailed. And as it relates to 716 Health, we also assumed management responsibility from Remedy. So Eric and Jess, congrats on that transition. Well done. And as my father mentioned, 24 was also a year of advancing development pursuits led by Courtney Samuels Cox. And one of these pursuits, I believe I touched on last year, what we've taken some significant steps forward on is the conversion of the Bank of America building at 1012 Fountain Plaza to residential. Now, this project still has some major hurdles to get over, but as it stands today, we have the necessary approval from Bank of America to move forward, and initial indications are that we have a very good chance of having the building listed on the National Register, which would make it eligible for historic tax credits, helping fill a lot of the financial gap. So hats off to Courtney for even getting creative enough to go down that path. I didn't think we had a chance, given that the building was built in 1983, but obviously there were some loopholes that were found. Additionally, on the residential front, we're in the process of designing a new residential project on the piece of land we control on Niagara Street next to our Mentholatum project. This new project would be anchored by an HQ for a large local construction company, and then we'd have apartments above, taking advantage of the existing brownfield tax credits at the site. Now, I should also mention, while I'm highlighting some of the residential stuff, that it's been really awesome to see the collaboration between development, brokerage, and our residential teams as we attempt to identify more multifamily projects and further immerse ourselves into that space. Lastly, as it relates to development, probably one of the most fun projects I've worked on in my entire career is that we're now representing the Buffalo USL soccer franchise and finding a site and developing a 7,500-seat stadium in the city of Buffalo. It's a very high-profile project that's been in the news quite a bit, and I'm happy to report that we've settled on a site. We're very close to finalizing the deal, and next would come in developing this stadium in time for 2020. Doing it again, man.
Why?
It went off. Next would come developing a stadium in time for the 2026 season, which aligns with America hosting the World Cup. So yes, a very tight time frame indeed, but what an incredibly impactful project to be a part of. So now on to the star child of today, property management. Property management, once again, extremely successful year. So congrats to Chris and his entire team. You continue to beat expectations year in and year out. And in 2024, we added 30 new PM assignments, 7 of them being residential, totaling close to 2 million square feet and over $2 million in an annual income. And part of this success included renewing 5-star bank account and then later adding our bank equipment and maintenance and repair services. Just another great example of Chris's team making the most out of every client. And we have our Pittsburgh folks. Yeah, there we go. There it is.
I didn't know they were here.
Stole my thunder.
They just
Good. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys tonight at the Sabres game. But congrats on winning the on 564 Forbes. I know that's a big win. 120,000 foot office tower right in the heart of CBD. So congrats to you guys and welcome here. Our residential team continues to grow at a rapid pace. We've added over 250 units in 2024. So congrats to Noel, Artie, and the entire team. It's really been fun watching that department grow. And speaking of growth, I'm proud to announce that in 2024, we officially formed a sales department within the property management department, led by Jeff O'Bannon and Sarah Cudmore. We've already seen some positive results from the early stages of this restructure, and we're really excited for what's got to come from this group. I really have a great time chasing business with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. So I've spent the past few minutes summarizing the pursuits and accomplishments from multiple different departments. But none of this is possible without the support from our marketing team. In 2024, marketing took on a additional responsibility, leading monthly business development meetings that include representatives from PM, both resi and commercial, brokerage, and development. And this has led to a significant increase in collaboration amongst departments. We have meetings where we strategize on a cross-sell existing clients, with a recent example where brokerage is currently working on finding locations for a credit union based upstate, while PM is simultaneously responding to an RFP in the capital region. We have roundtable discussions on what prospecting strategies seem to be working and give advice on those that aren't. And we simply play the name game, finding out who knows who at certain companies and buildings that we're having trouble getting in with. But all in all, these meetings are thought-provoking, energizing, and have really been a great addition to our business development efforts. And marketing continues to create unbelievable content and opportunity that supports thought leadership in our industry. I know a few years ago, I would often have to feed them ideas and information, and now they feed me. I cannot tell you how many times I hear from former colleagues in other cities as to how forward-thinking our content is, whether it's through social advertising or our website. And we also continue to have the best programming in Western New York in our office portfolio, led by one of our newest hires, Grace Harner, who we continue to create and support communities within our buildings and office parks, which is another significant advantage we have over our competitors. So now, before I hand it back over to Jim, I want to quickly touch on Boston one more time. I know my father mentioned, 2024 was unfortunately another stagnant year in the capital markets, prohibiting our ability to sell our well-performing assets or buy any new. But with that said, it was still an incredibly successful year for that portfolio. We signed over 15 leases totaling 250,000 feet, bringing our occupancy rate up 10%, despite placing an entire 100,000 foot building on the market. Our only two office buildings are far outperforming the market, and our R&D assets have north of a 90% occupancy. And again, that's with a 100,000 square foot hole that we just put out there. But most importantly, just near and dear to your heart, Jim, PM, AM, and construction management fees coming from this portfolio totaled over $1.5 million. So in a year where we really weren't able to buy or sell, this was still an incredibly profitable endeavor. On to you, my friend.
On to me. Last one, asset management. Asset management in 2024 closed $50 million worth of debt in Western New York, plus another $25 million worth of debt in Boston. And you sit there and say, okay, $75 million, big deal. The reality of it is, Kyle touched on it. The work that the brokerage team did to get those tenants in the buildings, to get them to sign the leases, the work that the TI team did to get those tenants in the building and paying rent, and certainly the work that the property management team did to get those tenants, happy and contributing to the cash flow of those buildings, at the same time managing costs and taking care of the business that you all need to take care of, made that possible. People don't realize that many, many, many institutions, lending institutions in 2024 literally told their borrowers, go away. When your debt is due, we do not want to refinance with you. Find someone else. And the transactions, although they were minor, but most of the transactions that were happening in the capital markets were forced sales when the lenders literally told their borrowers, we're not borrowing or lending to you, sell your building at a loss. So, this team, was able to find debt, get that debt at reasonable rates and very good, very good terms, was really the result of everyone's work. Now, Alex and Josh and some other people can take the credit for getting the financing done, but it really takes all of us to have a product worth financing. So thank you very much. Moving on to asset management, and one of our core values is a desire to grow. I'm sure when Alex was in college, he did not say, you know what I want to do? I think I want to do a condo conversion. That sounds fun to me. But he may not have thought it at the time, but certainly the asset management team, really, led by Alex, allowed for the condo conversion of Bethune. And to this date, we've sold 78 of the 87 units. And by all accounts, is a very, very, very successful conversion. And he was so successful that we are looking at Sinclair now for that possible conversion. So again, at a time when things aren't getting done, this team, you all find ways to get your jobs done, and we greatly appreciate it because it certainly makes life a lot easier for other folks on the team. So thank you all very much. Looking ahead, I always get this wonderful job too. Looking ahead, in 2025 and probably 2026, you will see, kind of a thawing of the capital markets. People will start putting more money out. People will acquire more buildings. In the federal government, better or for worse, you've got the government saying, we don't care what you're doing. You're going back to work 5 days a week. That will trickle down into the private sector as well. And you start to see that now with people coming back to the office. Interesting. You also have tariffs, and tariffs can lead to higher prices. Higher prices can make it more difficult for development projects to be profitable. On the flip side, tariffs can also cause, demand to pull back. And if demand pulls back, then pricing should come down. So we find ourselves in another interesting year. I think that in the next 3 years, the capital markets will be back. I think that we will have more trades going on. I think that our portfolio is positioned for success and will continue to get better and better. I'm very, very proud of the work each and every one of you have done to get us to this position. Over the years, if you think about Ciminelli real estate in our time, there have been one disaster after another, whether it be COVID or the S&L crisis or the dot-com bubble. And each one of those catastrophes, this company has been able to succeed, to not only survive but thrive. And coming out of COVID, I again believe we are on a positive trajectory, and we will continue to succeed with everyone's hard work and great effort and our, again, unwillingness to fail. So again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim. So let's look outside our walls for a second. I'm incredibly proud of how our employees continue to be active in the community, just every year more and more and more. And I know I discussed at length last year how phenomenal our first corporate stewardship report was, setting the bar pretty high. Well, in 2024, we hurdle over that bar. And not only do we now create slides around this report within our sales pitches, we're leaving hard copies of this report at almost every external meeting that we attend. And I do truly believe that our positive impact on our communities that we serve is one of the most significant factors that separates us from our peers. Some of these new steward initiatives include growth through formation of subcommittees as well, including sustainability, charities and volunteerism, wellness and advocacy, and implementation of their goals, or examples include Wellness Wednesdays, Ride for Roswell, Helping Hands Give Back, and something that'll be implemented next month, a great idea from Jenna, our new HR director, is VTO, Volunteer Time Off. Oh, Jenna, that wasn't your idea? You just shook your head. Oh, all right, whatever. All right, I was told that was you. Yeah. All right. Well, Jenna doesn't want to take credit. But yeah. But it's just really shows our true intention of how we're good stewards in our community, and again, I think we, especially in this day and age, really separate ourselves in that regard. In 2025, we're going to really have some great events. I think we did well in 2024 in finding events that worked for everyone, whether happy hours, family friendly. So look for very similar events happening in 2025, including the Yardy Party. And we are also going to be putting out a survey towards the end of the year. So really excited to hear some feedback from everyone. I think we're about 2 years since we did our last survey. So that's really, I think, all we have for today. I want to again thank Donna and the maintenance team for setting everything up, the IT team for getting this live stream last second. And we're going to open up the floor for questions.
Don't all jump at once.
Give it a few more minutes.
It's
Come
the
on,
first
someone's
time
got
we've
to.
ever had questions.
Dave.
Ask me an IT question there, Dave.
Why should I use a Mac? No.
Because I like him.
When we get the development project for the stadium, when are we going to name it?
I think someone's going to pay a lot of money for those naming rights, and it's not going to be us. No.
No.
Well, it could, but they don't want to pay for it.
I think we'd have to donate our entire fee we're making on it back just to get the naming rights. Not sure it's worth it.
Really?
Wow, usually not a shy group.
This is the first time ever.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. We appreciate it, and cheers to a great year in 2025, despite Jim's projections.
Yeah, they're my projections.